Live from the Tony Wallow Studios, it's the Ken Stout Live Show, featuring the Zoom homies, produced by L&K Productions. Yeah, Bobby Warren says hello. Hello, Bobby. Hello, everyone in Zoom. Let me bring Zoom up here.
Old acquaintance we forgot and
clearly the wrong thing. Let's try that one. I'm still not hearing any audio though. Why am I not hearing any audio? No, nobody's there.
I'm here.
Oh, Chris is there. All right, I can hear Chris. John Aloy Sr. says, good evening. Hello, John Aloy. Good to see you, John. Good to see you, Bobby. Good to see Robert. Tony. Yeah, Happy New Year. I hit the wrong button. I don't know why I clicked on that one because it's like nowhere near where the Zoom button is at. It looks like my delay is a little off tonight. What is going on with that? Let's go see. I can see what that's all about. Oh, it's set on ultra low latency, so that shouldn't be that slow. Wow. Anyway, good evening to Chris, and when Greg gets back, we'll say good evening. Hey, look, he muted himself. Isn't that cute? Yeah, Happy New Year, yeah, clearly, on the 10th day of February. Finally got around to celebrating it. A little slow these days, a little slow. So hope everybody had a good Friday. Mine was okay. I got to spend the afternoon with Mom. It was fun. Got to get a little nap in earlier and then drove down to pick her up. And for once the system worked the way it's supposed to, she actually walked out the door early enough that I've been home for a while and redid the first place award, which tonight was B.A. Tringer. I'm going to try to keep up with it on a daily basis and not be a day behind. I'm still confused, though, as to why in the live chat, Great Guy was first at 9:05 p.m. and in the studio version of chat, B.H. Ringer was first at 5:54 p.m. with Who's on First. John Aloy was second, followed by Greg at third. So I don't understand why that doesn't transition over to regular chat. That's really strange. Hello, Alex. Wipe the silly grin off your face.
Hello, Ken.
How are you?
I couldn't be better.
Yeah, well, obviously, but so what was the whole point in going to your grandma's today?
For two reasons. Number one, to visit, and number two, so I could have internet there because I didn't have internet at home.
And to get DoorDash, so actually there was three reasons.
And to get pizza, Papa John's, because I can't get Papa John's at home.
You can't get Sheraton doesn't have Papa John's?
They do not.
Wow.
Did you check her internet speed?
Yes, her internet is working normal. Her internet is just fine.
That's funny, Chris.
And yes, Chris, I do check it every time I go over there.
You expect it to change, or why do you check it?
No, but because it is cable internet, I have noticed, like, when we're over there on like Christmas Day, or if we're over there like on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, it's really slow because coax cable is a shared connection, and so it's a little slower on like Christmas because like everybody's at home. But other than that, one day a year, I haven't noticed it. But all she needs it for is for occasionally Facebook and my pop-up for his newspaper on the iPad he gets from the Arkansas Democrat, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Well, I've never had a problem when I had cable internet.
Well, like I say, Chris, the only time I notice a slowdown is when I've been over there on Christmas Day, and I assume that's because everybody's at home using it.
Probably. I mean, I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. Usage is going to slow it down a little bit, I'm sure. So, but I mean, other than a few times I've checked just to be checking, I don't notice any change in my internet. It doesn't really bother me over the years. I don't think I've really been that concerned with my internet speed. As long as it's functioning, i.e., I'm doing this,
Yes.
I don't care.
I was other than today, other than my little trouble I had getting home, I got 3 numbers for my transportation. The first number I got is their main office number, and I got 2 supervisors' numbers. The first supervisor I called left a voicemail, no return call. The second supervisor I called, I get a direct person, and I explain the situation. She says, "Where you going? Where you going? Where are you?" And she talks to the office, and she talks to the supervisor, and then lo and behold, 5 or 10 minutes later, somebody drives up. Turns out they had to call in. They had to call in somebody that was not even supposed to be working today, just to come and pick me up.
What happened to your scheduled ride?
I have no idea, and I really don't care, because as long as somebody comes and picks me up, I don't need a refund or need them to credit me for my next time I go on a trip.
How late
I
were
have
they?
no idea.
How late were they picking you up?
Well, when I texted you and said I'm on my way home, I was probably 10, 15 minutes from home. So they picked me up it was probably about 6:30, 6:15 when they picked me up.
So you were supposed to be picked up at 4,
Yes.
and you finally got picked. What if the supervisor hadn't been? If what would you have done if the supervisor's not around? I mean, are you stuck there at your grandma's till
No,
Monday?
no, I'm not. If I didn't have my mom and there was a van to pick me up, yes, probably would have been stuck. But because I had my mom, if I was at college or if I was at my grandma's, which is the only 2 places I take the public transportation for now until I get a job working somewhere. I have my mom. She can come and pick me up, which I had already called her, had already resigned to calling her and said, "You need to come pick me up." And she gets halfway down the road just like I thought she would, and they come pulling in because she's leaving, and while she's on her way up here, on her way over there, I'm still trying to get a hold of the supervisor, trying to see, because I've already paid for the ride. So they still need to show up. And she's just like, if they come,
Not 2.5
if
hours later, they don't need to show up. You need to get a refund on that.
if they and my mom just told me if they show up after you call the supervisor, just call me back so we can turn in and go back home. And that's what happened.
Sure.
The last time this happened at college, they didn't pick me up until 6:30, 7 o'clock. Same thing, same deal, except for I was at college in a different location. The same thing happened. I got a hold of the supervisor. They picked me up about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I had to tell my mom to go back home.
Yeah, so you prepay your rides in advance?
Only a day at a time. It's $5 there to my grandma's, or $5 to college, and $5 back.
But you
So when I get on the van, when I first get on the van and they take me to wherever I'm going, I pay the $10, so I don't have to worry about giving this guy $5 and giving the next guy the same day $5.
That's
So
interesting.
I just paid $10 because they write me a receipt, and
Right.
and if the next driver asks when they come back to pick me up, I can just say, "Hey, I got a receipt," and I can show it to them.
That's
Now
terrible.
when I was going to college twice a week, it's $10. It's $10 round trip for both days, $10 a day. So I would just give them $20 one time, and they would write me that receipt for $20, and I would just keep that receipt all week until like Thursday or whenever my last day of the week was, and then that would be that.
I just wonder if maybe prepaying in advance has something to do with they don't care if they come pick you up or not. They're already paid. That
Well,
makes sense.
if yes, it does, but you would think if they're already paid, they know I've already paid for it, so you would think they provide the service that I've already paid for.
Yeah. I mean, it can be argued both ways, but you seem to have an awful lot of luck about them not showing up until about 2 hours after they're supposed to. Is that smoke getting in your eyes there a little bit? You might want to
Well,
move.
let me explain this to you. I've also had it happen the other way, where they'll be late picking me up from my house, going to college or going somewhere, mainly going to school.
Right.
If they're late coming to pick me up from my house going to college, I have not yet paid them for the week or for the day.
True.
So they're still just, if they're late, they're just as late coming to get me as they are to bring me home.
So if they're 2 hours late picking you up, was there much sense in going to school? I mean, you're already missing class, are you not?
I had my ride scheduled so early to pick me up so early. Like when I was having networking class, I didn't have class didn't actually start till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but I wanted to be there by like 9 o'clock. I told him I wanted to be there at 9 o'clock just because I wanted to be there early, and so it didn't matter if I was an hour late. If I was 10 o'clock getting there instead of 9 because my class didn't start till 1 o'clock.
All right.
When I was taking classes at 9 o'clock in the morning for my algebra classes, they were consistent back then. I had the same lady that lived in Sheridan. I had the same lady picking me up every time, and bringing me home every time, so I could count on her. But since she quit, it was only 3 people that used to live in Sheridan that worked for this company, that worked for the transportation company, and all 3 of them, either 2 of them quit and 1 of them passed away. And once those 3 went away, the rest of them don't give a flip.
Yeah. Yeah. I see Rick's joined us. Hi, Rick.
Hello. You've only got me till about 10:30, about a half hour. I'm doing laundry.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah.
You do laundry about what, once a week?
Yeah, I try to. Try to do it on Fridays.
Yeah, I try not to do it at all. I'll occasionally wash a load or two, and occasionally I might even fold it, but rarely. Most times out of not, I don't fold it. I'll just wash it and dry it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do. Just stuff it back in the duffel bag.
Yeah, I understand that.
And my mom says when the Windstream guy came today to hook up,
What are you doing? You're going in the waiting room.
they didn't even call or anything.
So, what's my adoption page? Robert in chat. All right, go ahead. You got
Alex, you back online?
Yes, he's going to tell you.
Yes,
He just let the cat out of the bag. But go ahead. You got 2 minutes. Clock
yes, I
starts
am.
now.
Yes, I am back online. Um, just like they did when the guy came to hook up the fiber to begin with. He didn't call. He didn't email. He didn't call or email or text or anything to let me know he was going to be there like he was supposed to. He just showed up, came knocking on the door, and said he got a ticket or work order for something or other. But he got it. He talked to his the guy that came today, called his little number, just like I thought he was going to. He called his help desk number and said, give him my name and my phone number and all that address and all that stuff, and was able to get it turned back on. Didn't even have to came in the room just to check it on the router, but didn't actually have to replug anything else in or reset or reconfigure anything like I knew he wouldn't have to.
That's why we all couldn't figure out why they were sending a technician out. There's just no
And
sense in that.
and that's why they need us to send a technician out because I guess because they needed a technician to verify that it actually was out, and they needed the technician to be able to call. They needed a technician to call them, I guess, and give them the information for my new account.
Are you laying odds that you're going to have somebody show up between 1 and 3 on Tuesday?
Yes, I am. And the only reason why I am is because they still need to bury the cable.
Yeah, they're not
Which
coming
is
out to bury the cable Tuesday. They're coming out to do what they did today, but the cable's later
But
down the road.
the guy that came today, my mom explained to him that they still need to bury the cable, and that the original date for February 13th, the original order for February 13th we called to place was for line burial, not for installation.
Well, I will
And it
agree. I think you'll have someone show up on Tuesday to hook you up with that.
but yes, I would like the line buried. We all would like the line buried at some point because right now it's just in the backyard.
Yeah.
And on a positive note, both the account manager, or whatever you call his name, sales guy that showed up to my house a week ago, Waco, and the Windstream tech that came out today while I was at my grandma's, both of those guys are local. They both live, born and raised here locally in Sheridan. So that's good to know.
It might have helped a little bit getting your stuff turned on 4 days early. You never know. Okay.
Anyway, yeah, that's my update, and I'll shut up now.
And we're done talking about internet speeds, cables, this, that, the other, and all that. Correct? Correct.
Yes.
And the penalty is what?
A waiting room, but
It's called the penalty box.
or removal.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out something on my phone here through the computer. VH Ringer sent me an app that I'm kind of wanting to look into where you can do a lot of this wirelessly. Poor professor.
I've been talking to my college instructor a lot on the phone lately, and I feel so bad for him because he don't have where he's living. He's in a dead zone for everything. He don't have no satellite internet, no cell phone, barely any cell phone service or satellite internet or any nothing where he's at.
Yeah, one of the conversations we had today was, can you imagine living back in the times when you had to get around on a horse and wagon?
No, I can't. I mean, the question comes up these days is one of the questions that comes up quite often that I hear is, do you think people can survive without electricity? and internet these days, if people had to survive for an extended long amount of time longer than a week without electricity or internet, do you think they could do it? I know I couldn't.
Pretty sure it would be rough, but you would eventually adjust to it, I would think.
Yeah, but if it was out for like a month or a year or whatever, no, but not over the course of a week, it'd take a lot longer than a week.
Yeah, you'd be
To,
spending a lot of money on your hotspots, I would believe.
well, my phone data never quit working. I mean, I've used 22 gigs this month, or roughly thereabouts, and that's just over the course of 5 days, or however long it was, 5 days, 6 days.
Somebody joined us. I'm looking at something she sent me. I had to put it on the computer so I could read it. Don't know who it was. Looks like it was Gary and Darren. Two people joined. I only heard one bell. You guys must have joined about the same time.
Yep.
And I hear Greg's TV from his new. You got your speakers working, I seen.
No, that's my son's speakers that I ordered for him.
Oh, okay. Did you get? Is it still having the hum noise when you plug it in, or did you get that fixed?
He plugged it up to his phone and it works. I
Huh.
don't know why it doesn't work from the line out on the back of the motherboard. So I think we need an adapter from 3.5 to USB because his headphones work on the front panel.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Here comes Jeff. Yeah, I heard the bell that time.
Mr. Las Vegas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff.
Hello. Who?
So you guys are having panic buying out there, are you?
Apparently, I don't know where the other end of the pipeline that supplies gas here comes from. I just know it's someplace in California. But the mile at Costco was a quarter of a mile longer. The line at Costco was a quarter of a mile long to get in the gas station. And I went past Walmart on the way to going to Smith's, where I had to go anyway. And Walmart, it was hard to tell, but there's a Walmart and a Sam's together near me. And the line was all over the place. And the lady at Smith said the line was clear into the street earlier today.
Wow.
So I actually was low on gas. Otherwise,
Yeah, I'm
Even
not
gone.
getting bad weather.
What's that?
Getting rain, that's all. You asking in chat, what you call it, if I'm getting bad weather.
Yeah, I seen a report that says that the southeast is about to get hit with a really horrible storm, and I didn't know if that was going to include you or not.
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
North Georgia's supposed to be some snow, I believe.
Yep.
But we got rain here.
The cashier at Smith's service station said there was a big fuel leak in San Diego. So who knows? I haven't even looked that up yet.
I'm answering a quick text. I just can't get her to understand. I can't text right now.
You're probably going to be saying that all night long.
No, I'll eventually turn the phone off. But I can't really do that. And something were to happen, with mom, then eventually she'll get busy. I don't know. I'll figure something out. This is still an ongoing thing from last night.
Where's she at right now? The old or the new?
The old.
That's right. It's 11 o'clock.
Yep.
So
Actually made it on time tonight.
How dare you?
I know.
So she,
Well, here's how the day starts out. We get ready to leave. We get about a quarter of a mile down the road, and she goes, "Oh, I have to run by the old place before I go to the new place." And I'm like, "Oh, you should have told me that 20 minutes ago so we could have left him plenty of time to do that because, oh, you're not going to make that today." She made it. I drove a little fast, but I got it accomplished. And she wasn't late at her, even using the 7-minute window trick everybody uses, she was not late. The woman has no sense of saying, she has no sense of planning whatsoever. She thinks, oh, it's on the way. We can just, stop. And if it takes 15 minutes, I'll just be, I don't get it.
Why is it such an odd time frame, the 7 minutes?
I used to know that back in the day, but I think it was implemented because back in factory workers, the people coming to shift could clock in 7 minutes early so they could replace the people that were getting off, and they had 7 minutes to get clocked out, and they weren't considered late and they weren't considered getting overtime. But that's been back in the 90s. Back in the day, back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, in Detroit, it's 5 minutes, but close enough for government work.
Yeah.
And I was actually alive back then.
I think
in
it
the
probably
90s.
does that depend on the size of the business, Gary, or is that across the board 5 minutes for everybody?
Well, it's 5 minutes where I'm at, but it was 5 minutes at Ford, and they have 150,000 employees. So that's
Damn.
well,
You have overlapping shifts?
yeah.
Okay, that explains that.
But actually, it actually takes the people that are job setters and depending on whatnot, they're the ones that get ready for their first shift, and they have the overlap. Basically, you're done 15 minutes early. So there's like a half-hour swing in between. There's two shifts, like
Right. Yeah, if the nursing industry's experimented with that, it doesn't go well.
basically we pay you to get cleaned up and go home and get ready to work.
Right. Right.
So in hospitals and such, Ken, or even like at cops and fire departments and everything too, isn't there like half an hour overlap a lot of times?
No, they've experienced. I don't know about the fire departments and things of that nature, but when I was working, they experimented with it, but it didn't work well because what would happen was I'm scheduled to be at work at 2, so they tell you to come in at 1:30, so you have a half-hour overlap. I go clock in at 1:30. I go find me a place to sit on my butt and have a candy bar and a Coke, and at 5 minutes or 2, I'll come walking up. I relieve my 2 o'clock person or my day person. They go sit on their butt till 2:30 because they have a half-hour overlap. It was the most horrendous thing I'd ever seen.
It's interesting in the hospitals I've seen here in Vegas, when my wife was in there a couple of times, the nurses going off shift actually got the nurses coming on and briefed them on everybody. They went room to room.
You're supposed to do that. Sometimes it does actually happen. Sometimes it doesn't actually happen.
Okay.
But yeah, I've given more briefings on how things are than I've gotten.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, you're here. Bye. Oh, thanks. How's the day? How's Mrs. Jones today? How's Mr. Smith today? Things of that nature. And it didn't happen. Now, these two places are trying to really get it working right. And it'll take some fine tuning, but I think if they can just dial it in a little bit better, it'll actually work because they're doing a 12-hour shift and an 8-hour shift. And they just got to figure the balance out between what's the 12-hour shift going to be and how are you going to make sure you have full coverage when the 12s leave. Are the 8 people going to be by themselves? That's what's been happening. Well, today they rearranged the schedule at her new place and everything was covered. That she texted me about, I don't know, 8:30 or so, and she said, "Hey, I'm out early. Make sure you're here." They got the schedule worked out. So that was for today. I don't think it will.
How do they overlap a 12 and an 8? I mean, that doesn't add up to 24.
Well, 6A to 6P is 12. 6P to 6A is 12. So that covers that shift. Then they split the day into 8-hour shifts, 6 to 2, 2 to 10, 10 to 6.
Right, but I mean, are they mixing 12s and 8s though?
Oh, yeah.
Does the new place have problems too?
That was the new place that actually got it right today. The old place, they'll never get it figured out.
Mm.
They might as well just open the door and let the inmates run the asylum because they have no clue what they're doing. Now what they should do, 6 to 6. Okay, so at 6 o'clock, someone's going home at 6. If your 6 o'clock p.m. person doesn't come in, that leaves your 2 to 10 person by his or herself. And that's what the problem is. In the case that I understood, or I understand, they were not even scheduling people 6 to 6. They were only scheduling 6A to 6P and then covering the rest of the day with 2 shifts. Well, that's just dumb, just silly. So Lorna just sent me her schedule. I'm going to decode it later on and see if I can get it figured out. But my first glance of the old place, my first glance at it, it doesn't look too promising. Yeah, Walter Winchell. Good evening, Mr. and Mr. America and all ships at sea. Oh, Greg, I got a movie. Oh, is Greg out of the room? I can't tell. Let me see. Let me move
No,
chat.
you're right there.
I watched 2 Errol Flynn movies today with my mom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the names of them. I mean, that's how interested I was. The Pirate Hawk maybe might have been one of them. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, that was on Turner Classic Movies today.
Yep, it was. She kept having this thing. She's got DirecTV, and she kept having this little box pop up in the middle of her screen, wanting her to add channels. And I was like, "What is that going on?" She says, "I have no idea. That's been going on now for months and months. It just happened today. It just started today." So
Does she have the satellite or the streaming? I'm sure satellite. But...
satellite. But I'd never seen it before, and it's like wanting to add 15 channels. Now, I'm sure it's going to cost her money, so we just take the remote away and hit exit, and that way she doesn't. We'll figure out a way to block it. Yep, I agree with Robert. He's talking about, look how much BS there would be with no internet or social media. That's very true. If we had no coverage, just lock the door and turn the lights off. 911, what is your emergency? You have reached 911. We are currently unable to answer the phone. Please call back in 15 minutes.
I got my mom and dad pulled the wool over my eyes when I got home.
How did they surprise you with your internet being connected back up?
Okay, number one, they did it because I didn't think to look at my router app that connects my that I can use to see if the router is connected online here at the house from anywhere. Number two, I didn't look to see if the cameras were available on the security system app. And number three, I overlooked the email in my email saying, please rate how your technician was. I got a text message while I was sitting at my grandma's asking me to rate my technician that showed up while I was at my grandma's, and I was like, what's that? So I didn't rate it or anything. And then I get home and my mom and dad are telling me that Hunter came in here and hooked it up. Well, guess what? Hunter is the name of my oldest nephew, 12 years old. So I'm thinking, how did he do that? He don't work for my internet company. He don't work for Windstream. Well, come to find out, my nephew's name is Hunter Brown. Come to find out, the Windstream tech they sent out, his name is also Hunter Brown. So they was able to pull the wool over my eyes and make me think that my nephew did it, which I knew that wasn't possible, and because I knew somebody had been in here. Because when I came in here, I seen that before I even turned the light on, I seen that the light on the top of the router was blue, meaning it's connected. and I seen that somebody had moved my chair that's sitting in here around and had moved the laptop bag around in the floor, and it moved the Ethernet cable that's running from the fiber jack to the router. So I knew something was up
So why'd they come early?
because somebody I don't know. I really can't answer that. I don't know. I just know that he had got a work order. The technician that showed up today had got a work order for something else that we had called in originally about something not working and or something, and he just showed up and my mom explained the situation, and he said, let me see if I can get it connected. She gave him all my information, and that was it. And he made a phone call to his help desk people, and
Let's start an over under pool if they disconnected on the 14th.
You're cruel.
but let me tell you
Think
this.
it logically, that's all.
But let me say this. If I log into my account on my phone or on the computer, if I log into my account, it still shows that I have a pending installation for the 14th.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I may be cruel, but come the 14th, you're going to call me and say, Kian, my internet's out again.
But I got an email from an automated email from Windstream at 5 o'clock, right when after the Windstream guy left, that I didn't notice before. It says installation checklist, and it says on here, thank you for your recent order. Thank you for your recent high speed. And it tells all of what the technician did. I'm surprised I didn't notice that before, because I have access to my email on my phone and my tablet, which I had at my grandma's with me. Surprised I didn't notice it. I was too wrapped up in the fact that I couldn't get home and my ride was being late.
So you were able to log into your account and you can see all the particulars and everything?
Yes, I can.
Good.
There's really nothing on my account right now except for the fact that it still shows that I'm scheduled for an installation on the 14th.
How much you'll bet they still come?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll still come.
That'll be fun.
Actually, it would be as long. Yeah, I mean, it would be funny if they showed up, but as long as they don't disconnect it, then because that wouldn't be funny.
We had that happen with DirecTV once. I mean, we had a guy come out through a third party company, a reseller come out and install the DirecTV, and then a couple of days later, we had the actual DirecTV guy that worked for actual DirecTV guy came out, and my mom said, well, we've already had it installed by this reseller guy.
The left hand doesn't talk to the right hand.
Yeah, that's the whole scenario of this whole. That's the reason why this whole runaround started.
I remember when you could install your own DirecTV.
Do what? You remember when you could install your own DirecTV?
Go to Radio Shack and buy the DirecTV, or buy it from Walmart or whatever. Take it home and install it.
Install the dish and everything?
Yep.
I remember that. We never did it, but yeah, it was a thing when they first came out.
So it must not be real technical to get the dish pointed in the right direction in the sky to find the satellite then.
No, it didn't work most of the time.
Do what, Gary?
I said a lot of the times it didn't work. That's why they went to installers.
Well, it probably depends on where you live, but really it wasn't that hard.
Well, you had a lot of people that didn't know what they were doing, but they thought they were getting it cheaper. I mean, I remember a lot of people talking about, because they have to aim at the satellite, and they didn't realize that tree in the front yard was in front of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Why is this not working?
you listen to a
love-
tone though to the you had, well, the way you did it, way I did it, I listened to the tone with the TV sitting out out by the dish with a short cable running to the box and then the TV.
Well, I know. I'm just saying though that you were a little bit better than the average idiot.
You
That
just
bought it.
moved the dish and watched the signal meter.
Yeah, but a lot of people bought it, thought it would be easy to do. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
Mm. Ultimately, and I know this will never happen. I just wish that all these internet companies and all these phone companies and TV companies, I wish they had a special line just for people like us that can call them and get directly straight through to tier 2 or tier 3, or if you're having a problem like I did, somebody that can just flip the switch and turn it on and not have to go through all this mumble jumble around the corner and through the woods just to get it a key pressed on a keyboard, because that's essentially all they did.
Don't hold your breath, Alex, because
Yeah, it'd be
everybody
nice.
would be trying to get through to those people, whether they were qualified or not.
Correct. Yeah.
And I've seen qualified people screw up too.
Yep.
But you're right about sometimes it's frustrating. When I got out of the Army and went back to school, I was doing a lot of programming on the school mainframe on cards in those days. And I read all the IBM manuals and all that sort of thing for the job control language, yada, yada, all that stuff. And by the time I got to a place where I had a question, I already knew more than the students that he had hired at the computer center to help people with questions. They had a separate set that staff and faculty could go to, but you could never get through to any of those people. The only Ian I ever had, the guy that ran the computer center, had been my roommate my freshman year of college. So in a pinch, I could call him up.
That's the reason why I am still on the fence about getting a help desk, customer service, internet support job, or because I know when I first start out, I'll be on tier 1, being forced to read a script, and if I go off script to help them, whether it fixes their issue or not, I'll more than likely be fired. That's what scares me.
Well, that is not that unlikely. You get a job, you do what they tell you to do, basically, on that kind of job anyway. So
The thing with that, Jeff, you're right, but where I'm at and where I was at before, the thing you wanted to make sure is it was not repeated, because it might be the process that screwed up, not the computer.
yeah,
One person has a
run
problem.
into all kinds of strange things. The job I worked in Las Vegas, because of the background I had, I ended up interacting with the IT people and reviewing standards related to doing calculations and computer stuff, much to my chagrin. And it just, one of the things that happened here, there were some people in the government who oversaw what we were doing, who had the mindset that if you can only write the procedure correctly, every task will come out perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's just, it ain't gonna happen. For example, if I did a calculation and the report wasn't quite right, they didn't send my manager over to grab me by the throat and say, "Hey, Jeff, you better get your shit together." Somebody said, "Poor Jeff couldn't do it right because the procedure wasn't written correctly." So they would go back and add more detail into the procedure in hopes that I would do it right next time. And those of us who understood what was going, we just roll our eyes at that kind of shit. But there was nothing you could do about it, because the government guys that oversaw us said, "This is the way you're going to do it."
I guess I was just too spoiled. I guess ultimately I was just too spoiled having that whole setup at college, and having the school IT people, being friends with the school IT people right there. So I could pretty much we could go to them next door and say, "Hey, we need this, we need that," and they give it to us.
Never happen again.
Oh yeah, forget that. That's not the
Yeah,
real
that's-
world.
Yeah, to go to Jeff, I agree with you said 100%. But you're the engineer. You're not the engineer's assistant. You're the.
Oh, I know, but it's just.
But the tools should have worked for everybody. What they did with the tools would be different per person.
Yeah. Oh, I know, but it's just some people just have the wrong mindset that you can prescribe how to do things well enough that it always comes out right. And
That's right.
Oh, the pop air.
Anyway,
See, I distracted them with the shiny objects.
I can look back and then
Yeah, the fractal pop air. Okay.
you getting ready to put it together, Jim?
Yeah, memory shows up tomorrow. I forgot to order the cooler that I wanted, but that should show up here on Sunday. So I'm hoping Monday, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. It's not going to happen It's not going to happen
Almost looks
Tuesday.
like a full-size case. Is that a
Mid-size, I think.
mid-size tower?
I would say that's probably a mid. Yeah, that's a mid.
Okay.
It's fairly wide though.
Is 600 enough for the power supply?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what you're doing. I don't.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm only going to be running off the internal graphics for now. If I decide to put a graphics card in it, I'm not going to put anything more powerful than maybe a 6700 XT, and that should be more than enough. That 600 should be more than enough.
What kind of SSD or NVMe is that? Silicon power?
No, that is a ADATA SX8100. It's the replacement drive I finally got out of ADATA.
You've done 2 shows on it.
Yes, and it's going to go in this build because I have the drive. Might as well use it.
He has the technology. He can
That's right.
rebuild it.
That's right.
So speaking of shows, is Doug doing anything tomorrow?
Well, he's hoping he's going to do something tomorrow. It depends on whether or not his ISP can get its head out of its ass.
Is it scheduled? Because I couldn't find anything.
Well, yeah. Well, he may not have scheduled it yet.
Of course,
but
and again, we know
my
me
understanding
searching.
is he's supposed to do something.
It's scheduled.
Is it?
Yep.
You can already guess who's gonna be.
Oh yeah, it is scheduled now. Okay.
Somebody's waiting.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, we're gonna do a chat GPT.
Oh dear God!
What is Chat GPT? I keep seeing that.
We had
It's
this discussion the other day.
Some kind of an AI thing that lets you program and do all sorts of weird things, supposedly without knowing anything about what you're doing.
Yeah, you can pretty much ask it any question, like an algebra question or a networking question or anything, and it will tell you exactly how to do it, exactly how to program whatever, Java, Python, anything.
Chat GPT. How do I put Alex in the waiting room? Damn, it worked.
You were just itching for an excuse, weren't you?
Oh, I've been holding off on doing that for a while now, and it's been deserved to have been done before, but I've been being nice.
You've been waiting to do that a whole week because you couldn't do it while I was on the phone.
Sure, I could have done it while you were on the phone. I just chose not to do it while you were on the phone. You are so misinformed sometimes. Jump on your phone and let me demonstrate.
I know you could do it on the phone. You were just being nice to me because you knew my frustrations of having no internet. But since I have my internet back,
the mouse is on the 3 little dots. So
Be careful,
that'll be interesting to see. I've wondered. I keep seeing that pop up, and I've wondered what it was.
There's a video by a guy that I watched called I watched this guy called Network Chuck. He has a video on it.
And what?
Chat GPT.
Oh, we've been playing with that for a month already. It's great with questions, but it's not really great with thinking yet. You can fool it with a lot of things. I'm not going to go into half of them, but it'll write a program, but your people will find a lot of errors in it when they try to run it.
But if you have somebody halfway knowledgeable, you can tell it to do something and then supposedly correct the stuff and get the whole thing doing with a lot less work if you ask it the right kind of stuff.
Exactly.
But,
The more detail you give it, the better. But there's a lot of people, a lot of I won't say friends, but people I know, they're like you can trap it in circular. Remember, it's still by a programmer.
Yeah.
And it's a
Well,
data.
I'm just waiting for Skynet to become self-aware here.
But no, you can do it. It is. Well, let's check the loss.
Well, no, it sounds like it's made significant progress in that sort of thing. I'm not sure I believe we're going to get all the way there, but
well,
you can get it to where it's a useful tool.
It's past the MCATs already. It's past bar exams in about half the states.
Yep.
And what's scary is how quick it came on the scene when Watson barely beats chess masters. Well, it does beat him, I guess. But
I heard that if you try to ask it to do something, of course this makes sense. I heard that if you try to ask it to do something hackery, malicious or whatever, that it won't. It'll basically tell you that it can't do it.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to go into it while we're on YouTube, but you can ask questions circular way, and it'll give you two separate answers depending on how you ask.
Be interesting to see where it goes.
But if you ask it straight questions, write a factual report on something, it's damn good. It's better than looking through the encyclopedia for 8 hours. That's why they're complaining about kids using it on their handheld.
You do realize we're in the year 2023. Nobody looks at an encyclopedia nowadays.
You don't look at Wikipedia?
Wikipedia is online, not an encyclopedia. No, I don't look at Wikipedia.
Well, a lot of people do.
Oh, I'm sure they do. But I just can't. I don't see anybody in this day and age going to the library and getting out a big encyclopedia book and flipping through the pages.
Well,
but there's online ones that you can pay to use too. Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah. Do you use
World Book and the other old ones?
Do you use dictionaries online?
Me?
I do.
No. I put in the first 2 or 3 letters and it spells the word for me. The internet was made to make me smart. I'm telling you, that's all it was made for. I'm going to be like Al Gore here. Never mind. I don't use a dictionary.
The wrong word.
When I went to
spell check, never use it.
When I was in school, especially in like middle school and whatever, the teacher would say like you have to have one book source, you can have one internet source, and so like you can use pretty good voice. So like I still had to cook.
The problem is the only reason I'm saying dictionary is like THE. What's the next letter? ER or EI?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, let's not go there.
That's hilarious. You can't. That's.
But no, I did not mean to. But actually,
I'm not getting paid to be a comedian, so it doesn't have to be good or not. I watched a short the other night on a comedian. He was doing his routine, and somebody said, "This sucks." The guy stopped and he goes, "What's your name, sir?" And he told him his name. He's had a very funny name. And he goes, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry this doesn't appeal to you." He goes, "I understand you paid your money and blah 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 blah." And he goes, "Let me see if I can explain this to you will understand it." And he says, if a man is dating several women at one time, he's called a stud and a player, and he's looked at it, admired throughout the world.
Jim Jeffries.
Was that the comedian?
That's the comedian, Jim Jeffries.
So you know where this is going, right?
I know exactly where it's going, and I can almost quote the entire routine for you.
Go ahead, by all means, take over, please.
Well, you want this to be a family channel, or what?
We can't. We have to dumb it down for the family channel. But if you want to wait and discuss it afterwards, we can.
I'll be more than happy to.
All right, let's do that. It was pretty funny. Got to admit. Have to admit, it was very funny. Speaking of that, how long have we been going now? It looks like we're coming up on an hour.
9:40, and I gotta go, guys. I gotta go get laundry done.
All right, Rick, no problem. Yeah, we're at 56 minutes anyway, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and
See
kill
you.
it.
Take care.
All right. Catch you later.
All right, good night. Have
Good
fun.
night. Yeah. Yeah.
So let me see here. John Aloy, see you tomorrow. BH Ringer was first. He's been in chat on and off. Come up with a couple of good things. Tony Wallow, Rick Lakes, great guy. Why can't I go back on my chat now? This is crazy. I give up. I'm just going to end the stream. Night, everybody.